Joe Mackenzie here. I thought what I would do today is do a portrait of my husband Tom. You can see all the colored test dabs on the left. I make them as I paint. And I thought I would narrate this. But also speed it up because I cannot watch painting in real time. It just drives me nuts. So we're starting with midtones. The midtones are all going to be reds. So if I looked at them through the value finder, they would actually look neutralized. You would see, they wouldn't show up at all. But against the white piece of paper, they almost look dark, but they're not. They're actually going to be midtones. So midtones meaning a value of, oh, I don't know, around 5 or 6 on the value scale. And I'm using a variety of reds here. I have cadmium red, and I've also mixed some cadmium red with some Naples yellow. I'm using a rose. The point I'm trying to make is that when I do my midtones, I try to use at least 3 or 4 to accomplish one task. So although it looks like there's one color going in there, there really isn't. There's a bunch of different colors, but they're all the same value. Now I'm putting in some darks. Now the darks, first I'm going to put in a triad for that shadow. That was one of the reasons I wanted to paint the painting. A triad is 3 colors that will accomplish one task of making a mass, which watercolor does so well. And there always has to be a compelling reason, at least for me, to paint something. And for me, strangely enough, although I like this picture of Tom, because it's Tom playing banjo and in action, I was really drawn to that shadow underneath. Sometimes I'm more drawn by the shadows or the space between things than I am by the actual thing. All right, so we've left midtones and I've mixed up some darks. Now, whenever I mix up my darks, I'm always going to use the colors that I used as midtones. So I'm not starting fresh, so that things will look consistent within a painting. The other thing that makes this look consistent within a painting is that I'm mixing all my colors. Nothing's coming right from the tube and going on the paper. So now I'm looking at the hair. The hair has some midtones in it, and I wasn't sure where they were. So I put in the darks of the hair, I put in the lights of the hair, and now I'm putting in the midtones. You know, this is all strategic. Just sometimes you have to figure out a way to accomplish your task. And if I can clearly see where the midtones are, then I'll start there. But if I can't, then I have to come in the back door, so to speak, and I have to find the darks. And if I can find the darks, then I can find the lights. And then, of course, anything that's left is a midtone. It's kind of a puzzle in a way, but I like that part of strategic painting. It's kind of fun, and it gets revealed as I paint. I mean, I start with a plan, of course, but as I paint, more will be revealed, and I figure, oh, okay, I have to go about the strategy this way, or I have to pivot and do it a different strategy. Now you can see on the left that the value dabs are starting to mount up. um, and I never put a color down on the paper without testing it as a test dab first. Because what I'm doing here is I'm looking to see now, within the context of everything that I've made decisions about that are on the paper, now what's a midtone, what's a dark, what's a light. Because that's shifted. When I first began, it was easy to tell. Anything I put down was going to be a midtone. Anything in the red range was going to be a midtone. Anything against the white piece of paper was going to be a midtone. But that's not true anymore. Now everything has to be within the context of all the decisions that I've already made. And what I'm also doing is I'm being aware that I don't want to use too many strokes. I want to look at big value shapes whenever I can. And this is just a personal preference on my part. I'm just not really interested in the individual hairs on a head or eyebrows or those kinds of things. I just love to look for value shapes. And if I can find the value shapes and put them together correctly, then when I walk away and then come back in the room, an image appears. And I just like the magic of that. It's a little bit like if you've ever made Ukrainian eggs, you know, that dye resist thing that happens. You don't know what you have until you actually take the wax off the egg and it gets revealed. And I feel like the way this type of painting kind of does that for me. But it's not haphazard. It's definitely strategic. I know exactly what I'm after here, and I'm using these little value dabs in order to find my way, trail markers, so to speak. All right, so things are starting to tighten up a little bit, and I never like it when things start feeling tight, because I know that I'm getting near the end of a painting, and the last thing I want to do is overpaint. So I thought I was done here. So I dried everything, have to hold everything down because the dryer will make everything go flying in different directions. But so I left the room. I came back in and realized that although I always say leave the whites of your paper white, there was too much white left. So I needed to find a value that was lighter than where I started, lighter than that red, but not as dark as any of the darks I put in. And I needed to find where those patterns are. Now this takes a lot of squinting. Takes a lot of squinting, and it's also taken, I have to admit, because I've drawn a lot of faces and heads this summer, I now know where the planes of the face are. So it's very helpful to know where those different planes are, and to know, where the eye socket should be and where the planes of the cheeks are. Now I'm putting in the background. I always say with the background, even if you introduce a new color, like Aurelian came in as a new color there, I'm also using some of the skin tones to soften that up so that it will, again, be cohesive with the rest of the painting. And so now we're rounding around the end of the painting, and there's my Tom. So that was kind of enjoyable to do. It kind of problem solved itself. And there are the color dabs. Remember to keep the white to your paper white, your paint's wet, master value, mix, or color. Please join my YouTube channel. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.